Billionaire call top 10 takeaways. Hey, this is Arn Terry from Freestyle Mindset. I'm a social media professional and a blogger. If you have been following my journey, you will know by now that I have had a conversation with the actual real life billionaire. So who can actually say that they've actually got and had a call with a billionaire? Not many people on this planet, but I'm not just having this conversation with you who's watching this video just to basically brag about it. It's to give away basically top 10 takeaways I had from that conversation. If you are new to my channel, please feel free to subscribe because part of my journey, I'm going through a social media journey. I'm blogging, I'm networking, I'm doing social media, I'm making money from social media, but most importantly, I'm having fun along the way. So if that sounds like what you want to be part of, make sure you hit the subscribe button and give this a thumbs up as well. Hitting the subscribe button will mean that you'll get more content around this type of video. And if you do want to comment, please feel free to make a comment on there what you would like to see more of or less of. Your constructive comments do really help me provide more information, intel about what people are researching or what people want to hear and see and listen to. So jumping straight in again, I have had a conversation with a billionaire. Very interested in the way I got his details and the way I use certain techniques of my social media know-how to basically obtain his details. But basically, this video is just to go through the takeaways on that conversation I had with him. The conversation, I think, was about just under an hour, maybe about 50 minutes, maybe a bit more. But it was me asking a lot of questions and him doing a lot of talking. So it was more one way in terms of I wanted to find out as much information about who he was, how he became a billionaire, etc., etc. So I just had a list of questions and basically just, we conversated that way. So anyway, me jumping into the top 10 takeaways. This isn't in any particular order. I've just literally put in an order. So I've asked him about what did it take for you to become a billionaire, and he mentioned patience. So this is one thing that I'm sure we've all heard, and it's so damn frustrating because I've been said this to me many, many times from coaches, mentors I've been working with as well. You need patience. It isn't going to come to you in the same day. And the people that you see who are successful, they've been doing it for many years before they've got to that height and success. But depending on what you believe success is, for me, I believe happiness is success, so I'm already successful. So let's talk about wealth. So to get to that wealth stage, it can take many years to actually get to that wealth stage. So basically, was talking about patience is the main thing that he believes. So it's patience and having that basically that desire to get more and to do more, but being patient with it. So number two, one of the second takeaway I got from the call with the billionaire. Again, this was a one-to-one call. This wasn't like a group of people on a conversation. This was just literally me and him on the phone having a conversation, just so I can clear that up. Number two was making mistakes. I asked him a question, and one of the things was, if you could go back to being your younger self, what changes would you make? And he said absolutely nothing. He was very straight to the point. He said absolutely nothing. I wouldn't have changed anything. He said actually it was a load of mistakes that he made as his younger self that got him to become a billionaire. So it's a typical story when he's made thousands, tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars, and lost it, made it, lost it, made it, lost it, made it, lost it. So it was that kind of process that helped him judge and understand what to do better next time. So what he was basically talking about is just tweaking it. So pretty much, if you're a car mechanic and you're trying to sort your engine out, or you're trying to get more horsepower from your engine, you just tweak and fine tune it. So that's what he was doing with his knowledge, with his wisdom, with his brain, with his business, just tweaking and mending things as and when he needed to. So that was number two, making mistakes. So we just need to embrace the mistakes. And one thing that I've said, and we was having a great conversation about when I interjected, I said that's what I've been posting across my social media platform, is you need to embrace the mistakes, because if you're not making mistakes, it means you're not learning something new. And one of my previous YouTube channels, I'm sure I'll post it on here as well. is you need to embrace the mistakes, and also it'd be so boring if you didn't make mistakes. So mistakes helps you with creativity, helps you learn, it helps you problem solve, it helps you create solutions. So we had a really good long conversation about making mistakes and embracing mistakes and how to overcome that. So that was number 2 takeaway. Number 3 takeaway was basically another one that you've probably heard many, many times is surround yourself with like-minded people. So a lot of the times your current friends and family and on your journey to be successful within your own right. Again, for me, success is happiness and happiness is success. So we can talk about wealth, we can talk about financial freedom, we can talk about traveling the world. So depending what success means to you, your family and friends may not be on the same journey. So I'm not talking about getting rid of those current friends, but what we're talking about is surrounding yourself with those like-minded people. So if you're starting a business, if you promote a product, a service, whatever that may be, you need to get into networking with those kinds of people by seminars, webinars, etc., etc. So we had a good conversation about that and how I started my journey. Obviously, pre-COVID, when you was allowed to go to all these seminars and networking events, and that's how I started to meet friends and hang around in the right circles, join masterminding groups. So it's really about surrounding yourself with the right people, but don't be getting rid of your friends, etc., etc. This is business, so we're talking about business like-minded people. You can socialize with them, but you still keep your socializing friends with you as well. So don't get that confused. You still need your good friends around you as well. Just because they don't support you on your entrepreneurial, solopreneur, or whatever you want to call it, journey, doesn't mean that they're not there for you. So hopefully that makes sense. Number 4, the takeaway I got this was use social media to build your brand and presence. And again, we had another great conversation about this. We was talking about TikTok. He asked me what my thoughts were on TikTok, and I mentioned I've only just really joined TikTok. And he was like, well, good, you should be on TikTok because everyone's talking about it. So we was talking about modeling. And again, in the previous YouTube videos, I was talking about, modeling the successful businesses to basically master success. So the reason why we was talking about TikTok and he was talking about TikTok was because everyone's fighting about it at the moment. Everyone's talking about it. You had Microsoft jumping for it, you had Oracle jumping for it, and you had other companies as well trying to buy this giant. And that the reason being, because that's the next thing. That's where everyone's hanging out. It's like when Snapchat was, should I say, Facebook were buying Instagram and bought Instagram. People flocked from Snapchat over to Instagram. Same thing's happening now with TikTok. A load more people are hanging out more on TikTok. So that's probably a good place to start. Have your own style. Don't copy anyone else, because we had a bit of a laugh and joke about that, because I don't do the dancing thing or anything like that. Mine is just basically talking about my business, and I've got my own kind of style to that, which I may change, I may not change. But yeah, we was talking about your social media presence, but there's loads. As we all know, there's LinkedIn, there's Facebook, there's Instagram, there's TikTok, etc., etc., etc. But TikTok seems to be one of the biggest growing things. So take your time and have a look at that. But don't fall into the trap of copy other people. Try and do something different. He mentioned he's just using it to have fun, so he's hanging out there having a lot of fun. But he can do. He doesn't really need to create much more because he's a billionaire. He just needs to network a bit more differently than the rest of us. Number 5 takeaway that I got from the conversation was unfollow people who aren't your target. So let's say, for example, a great example is Instagram. He actually brought this up, not me. So his analogy or his mention was, if you're following these women who are twerking on Instagram, what's the point? Because all you're doing is you're just making Instagram think and believe that's the kind of content that you want. So it'll obviously push more people like that and around that social network to yourself. So he was talking about unfollowing people that isn't relevant to your business. So say, for example, you was doing fashion. What you need to do is assign yourself around fashion brands, depending on what fashion you want to go to. It could be high-end, it could be fast fashion, it could be men's fashion, it could be women's fashion, it could be, country specific. So if it's a fashion brand that you've created or doing, then what do? You hang around with those kind of companies, and also you hang around with the kind of celebrities who are associated with different types of fashion brands versus your next door neighbor down the road, and multiple people like that, where the algorithm on the, unless it's, talk about Instagram, will be pushing you the wrong kind of people to follow. So it's basically unfollowing the wrong people and then start following the right people, building that presence back up again. Because when you start following more fashion brands, what's going to happen? Instagram will give you recommendations saying you've been following this, why not follow this? Been following this, follow that. And then before you know it, you're following, maybe a couple of hundred great brands or great companies or great people, and then you surrounded yourself with that. So that was number 5 takeaway, about basically unfollowing the people and then following the right kind of people. And it basically was talking about as well, which was basically getting in connection with these people as well, liking, sharing, comment, etc., which I'm sure we know, but we fail to do sometimes because life gets in the way. So just make sure you're talking and you're being present and you're being, you appear on these platforms when you talk to people. So that's number 5 anyway. Number 6 is value yourself, value your product. So this is, the price point. Again, another great conversation we had about this is, you need to value yourself and value your service and value, your price, whatever you're offering, whatever service you're doing. If you believe it's worth that price, obviously you need to justify it. You need to do your own market research. You need to look at other companies who are offering this similar sort of service, product, line, or whatever you want to call it, to your business, and then you need to make sure it fits within those parameters. Worst thing you can do is going too cheap. We had another conversation about that. Is never go too cheap in your price point. So that brings me on to the 7th takeaway, should I say, which again kind of follows the number 6, which is what is it worth to your client? So you talk about your target audience, your target market, your target people. To you, you may not think it may be worth a lot, but to your client, it could be worth, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times that. So there's different ways and methods you can do that just by doing a pre-order. And I'll put my next video on that as well about, mastering the pre-order, which I did on YouTube as well. So that's another great conversation that we talked about, the pre-order as well. Launching the product before it's actually completely finished, to see who will pay what, where, and when for the product. Number 8 is literally stop the excuses. Simple as that. Number 8, great takeaway that I got from it. Stop the excuses. Number 9, a takeaway that I got was repetition. Just keep doing it, have that passion, have that desire, and keep doing what you need to do to make sure you become successful. So the repetition thing ties in with learning from your mistakes. So you've already learned from your mistakes from then, and then you repeat what works for you. So once you've got a model that works, you do it again, then you do it again, you do it again. Don't try and reinvent the wheel. If it's working for your business, yeah, you can try and tweak and shift and do things. But if you want to tweak something, don't just tweak it into the business. Put something like a poll or a question on, it could be Instagram, it could be LinkedIn, it could be Facebook, Twitter, etc., and get your audience, get your customers, get your buyers to give you that information on how you could tweak your business. Don't just change it straight away, because you could damage your reputation overnight. So again, number 9, repetition. Number 10, this is my personal opinion, and this was my biggest takeaway from this, was the most important to me. What we've talked about is you truly need to believe in your mind. So it's all about mindset. So if you really believe in your mind, your soul, your heart, your being, that you can achieve greatness, you can achieve that business, you can achieve whatever you want to do within your own right. So success means different things to people. Then it needs to start in your mind first, and you need to focus with that. So they are basically my takeaways on this. Another thing that I did or got from here, which was a massive, massive shock, is that we was having a conversation. I was speaking to him, and he said to me, "Yeah, you know, I've given you my personal number." I was like, "Okay, is it your personal number?" So it's amazing when you meet someone like this and they're just humble, so down to earth. Massive shock to me that he's actually given me his personal number, which basically means I can, if I wanted to, I could ring him pretty much any time of the day. Not sure if he'll answer it or not, but at least I've got a dialogue with him. If I've got a question, if I've got a concern, if I need some help, I can ping him a text or just give him a call. I've literally got, this billionaire on speed dial. Again, not many of us out there can say that we've got a direct contact and a direct connection to a billionaire to help us out. So that was very, very huge. Now, for the action takers, what I'm basically doing is I've created a bit more content on this because there's too much to go into on this YouTube video. So what I've done is I'm uploading some of the content on there onto my course, How to Dominate Social Media. So my full course. So what you need to do, if you are interested to know who this person is, I'll gladly give you that person's details. Obviously not his contact details, but I'll let you know who the person is. And, you do need to take action and go into my course. So I'll put the link somewhere down below, which is the Dominate Social Media course. If you take that, you will obviously get my full course, obviously, and then also there'll be a bonus on there on how I obtained his details, the kind of tricks that I did to get into his presence, and also more takeaways from this video on how we had that conversation and how he is helping me to get to the position that I need to get to. So fingers crossed, and hopefully it all works out great, and hopefully this video has been really insightful for you. Again, if you are new to my channel, please feel free to subscribe and give it a thumbs up. If you've got information about what content I should be putting down, feel free to put it in the comment section below. This is Arn Terry from Freetown Mindset. Have a great day.